Welcome everyone to another episode of the Will and Rock Podcast. I'm back, better than ever, after missing the greatest fight card in UFC history.
No, really?
Some people might call it that.
It's definitely the best card of the year. But
For sure.
But damn, to call it the best card of all time?
It was like so many belts up in the line, a lot of switches.
Well, there was all switches, and to top it off, there was a ton of fucking knockouts from the preliminaries all the way to the main event.
I literally was like in the airport, FaceTiming you to go watching.
Yeah, man.
I saw Hendricks versus
Costa.
Costa, yeah.
Jesus,
Costa,
that
the
kid,
real deal.
man. Costa is the fucking real deal. Talk about somebody in the come up, and everyone should be scared of this kid, man.
No, yeah, I heard really good things about him. It's something to look forward to, without a doubt.
He's also shaped like a fucking cartoon character, bro.
Yeah,
Just
the best body in the game right now.
Yeah, but I'm afraid that he's gonna fucking get popped.
Yeah, that's a good point. He is Brazilian. But with that being said, let's get straight to some news. It's just been booked. December 30th, Chris Cyborg versus Holly Holm. It's official.
That's a good fight. I still think that Holly doesn't deserve that fight. Believe it or not,
I think it's the best women's fight ever. Best. I mean, stylistically, like they're both stand-up fighters. I want to see the distance that Holly Holm is gonna bring into this fight, because I could see Holly Holm dropping her with a leg kick, man. I really can.
But it's tough to keep distance from someone like Cyborg.
Yeah,
because
Cyborg just moves forward.
Well, yeah, she's so consistent. She's in your face type of fighter. It's tough to fight her. That's why Holly Holm had such success with Rousey, because Rousey actually gives the distance as well. It backfired on her miserably.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a tremendous fight. I'm looking forward to that fight. And I guess we have to wait till December 30th.
I know, it's going to be a while.
Month. It's going to be a while from now, but it's around the corner if you think about it. Then we also got Silva gets popped for steroids yet again.
And no one talks about it like they did with John Jones.
Yeah, I know, but that's a good point. But
we're talking about the greatest fighter of all time.
But he's been popped twice, so now you have to think about it. When USADA was not there, right? Was he still doing steroids? And that's the allegation everybody has now, because you could call him the best fighter in the world, but he's gotten popped with steroids, right?
Yeah.
And why not John Jones? Because John Jones in his peak. You know, he's currently the greatest fighter to ever, grace the octagon with 110% right now with the competition he's fought versus Silva. But with that being said, they both gotten popped, but John Jones' career is just pretty much just starting. I mean, this guy started at a really young age, the youngest champion in the world, at one point. So we have to keep that in consideration. With that being said, Silva was supposed to fight Kevin Gastelum. He gets popped for steroids. They take him out the card, and guess who joins that card?
Michael fucking Bingsby, bro.
After, coming off a devastated loss to George St. Pierre, lost his title, and said, I want to get back in the mix. And I really thought he was coming in with with that in his mind, like, oh, I just lost. I need to get a win. Let me fight this fucking monster that's Kevin Gastelum.
I actually thought that he was going to contemplate retirement. Like
he's been contemplating retirement.
Yeah. But my point to you is, like, after he took this L, I figured, okay, let me take some time off, and he was just going to be like, you know what? It's just not worth it.
And what I do think, because the feedback that he must have gotten from saying he's going to fight Kevin Gastelum is made him kind of retired. I'm pretty sure, because right after that he said, this is going to be my final fight, win or loss.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, he wins, so he could go out with a win. But it's sad to see a guy like always pushing it more and more when he's in the verge of retirement, and then falling short, and then you're going to be known for
Well, the good thing about it is that Michael Bingsby didn't have the belt for a long time. Took a while for him to be in the game to get that belt, and he's one of those guys that is always going to be known as the grinder, man.
One of the best as well.
Yeah. Anybody they put in front of, he took. Every fight they put in front of him, they took. But yeah, I think to an extent, he saw this as the escape route. Like, Gastelum is an escape route to him. And something tells me that it's not the right fight for Michael Bisping. Especially coming after that loss, man.
Yeah, no, Kevin Gastelum is a monster. I think that kid is on his way up. He just coming off a loss versus Chris Weidman, but then again, he lost to a former champion. I really do believe he could beat more than 80% of his weight class. I really do believe that he could take care of that middleweight class. But something to look forward to, because Kevin Gastelum is another beast. Really, he's on his way up. Also, Woodley said that if Diaz is down, he's ready to go at UFC 219, the same card with Chris Cyborg and Holly Holm.
Something tells me that Woodley's going to definitely fight in that card. They already marked him down to fight in that card. They just don't know who to give him.
Yeah.
And I think Nate Diaz should really consider taking this fight.
With 110%. Right now, he's pretty much irrelevant, with all due respect. We all want to see him fight. And he's just hiding somewhere. Come out, get your hands dirty. Who wouldn't take a fight after coming off of a loss with Conor McGregor, taking about a 2-year layoff, coming to still get a title fight? Take it for what it is.
Absolutely, bro. And the fact that he's kept that momentum going, like, people still believe that he's the truth because of what he did to McGregor. It's the fight. It's definitely the fight to make. For the UFC, I'm pretty sure they're gonna call for good money for Nate to fight in that card, man. Because people want to see him, and especially after Conor McGregor pulled a fucking start in the in Bellator, he jumped into the octagon, pushed the referee. From my understanding, he slapped like a security guard or something like that. Yeah. Just horrible fucking dudes for somebody who's a champion. And especially someone of his level and caliber, it's freaking horrible to see. And he was supposed to fight in that December card. That was the plan. Yeah. Being that he's gone, that's why they're pushing Nate to fight Woodley, because Nate was supposed to fight McGregor most likely for that card.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And also we have officially been booked. Vitor Belfort is fighting Uriah Hall at UFC Fight Night 124, and that's taking place in St. Louis.
That's interesting for Vitor Belfort. I think it's time for him to retire. This is his last fight in his contract, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the UFC is going to sign him back. Or if they do try to bring him back, they try to bring him back for some really shitty money. I'm almost 100% sure he's going to end up in Bellator.
I agree with you. 110%. Uriah Hall, needs a huge win here. So does Vitor Belfort. If Vitor Belfort wants in devastating fashion, he could literally negotiate his contract if he wants to stay with the UFC. Do we want him to stay in the UFC? Not really. I mean, it's time for him to hang up his gloves. He's been an amazing ambassador for the sport from the beginning.
Literally the beginning, man.
Yeah, literally the beginning. He was 19-year-old when he set his feet in the octagon, and I think that he has nothing else to prove. He became the champion. He's gone through hell and back. We've kind of saw his life story from the earlier UFCs to where he is now. He has nothing to prove. Hang up the gloves, and you're going out like a champion that you are.
But I will tell you, if he decides to go to Bellator, it's a win-win situation. Because I think he has good fights in Bellator for him. There's really good fights in Bellator. And it seems like all these fighters who are like in the edge of their career, they still got a little bit of gift, and they're like in mix of retirement. They're all ending up in Bellator. So now Bellator is doing a great freaking weight class tournament. A heavyweight class tournament, which is going to be phenomenal, man. Because at the end of the day, these are some like fighters, like someone like Rampage, who hasn't fought in a while. And to get him back in the mix, man, Mitrione, Fedor, you got Chicago, Sonnen, Bader. Chicago's in it. Oh. Yeah, Bader's in it as well.
Yeah, and I was interested in that because I was thinking, is Bader planning on going up in weight?
And King Mo.
Right, King Mo.
And they have actually King Mo. Well, I read a small report that they had King Mo winning they don't see nobody beating King Mo. That's interesting.
I want to see who's going to really beat Bader.
Yeah. I think he's a younger, hungrier fighter. He has a lot to prove. These other fighters, they lose. They got nothing to lose. Someone like Rampage, man, he got fucking shit to lose, man. Yeah. Fedor Emelianenko, everyone expects him to lose either way. So I think it's going to be a good card regardless. I'm dying to see that. It's such a
I agree.
smart idea in Bellator's
Let's get to YouTube
fighting.
questions.
Yeah, YouTube questions. Thanks for everybody for the support. By the way, I was holding it down while my brother was gone last week. So thanks everyone for the support. We got Will here. He writes, ever since Kendrick got knocked out by Robbie Lawler, he has not been the same. Hands down. I had mentioned that in the last podcast. He's just taking way too many L's at this point, and after what if he's gonna go back and stay on that weight class that he just freaking got demolished by Costa, it sucks to say for a champion who I guess made somewhat of his name when he beat Georges St. Pierre for that belt. Did Georges St. Pierre vacate it?
Georges St. Pierre vacated, but he held down that crown for a little bit.
Yeah, because he beat a couple of fighters, and he's won in devastating fashions, man. That right hand is serious. But you're right, Will. Robbie really put the hurting on him, and he's never been the same after that fight.
I agree.
He had mentioned that he cannot cut weight properly because of his fatigue, conditioning. It's been horrible after all that fight. And I like what he wrote here. He wrote that GSP still has a lot of work to do. He was gassed after the second round, and Bigsby was still coming with it. Couldn't agree more. And I think I mentioned that also in the last podcast. In the second round, I think it was second or third, I can't recall, GSP looked really winded, bro. Yeah. Really winded. And the fact that he still was able to pull it off is what makes him a champion. So even though I agree with Will, I still believe that the reason what makes him a champion is because he was able to fight through all that and still freaking win that fight.
And we also have to understand he had a crazy layoff, so I agree with you, Will. He needs to get back in that octagon and, start to build up his cardio again.
Totally agree, man. He also mentioned that Mighty Mouse and TJ sound good if they fight at bantamweight. I couldn't agree more. I don't think TJ should go down. I think Mighty Mouse should go up in weight class. But it's interesting, and that's one of the things that I had mentioned in the last podcast. I don't know if you know that, but so TJ, after he wins the fight and he knocks out Cody, which is fucking crazy,
amazing,
crazy. He said, I want to get my other belt. I want to go down in weight. So it's interesting that he had the mentality. I thought going into that fight, they both were going to call out Mighty Mouse, but not to go down weight.
I don't know why he would want to go down weight. Maybe because Mighty Mouse.
He just wants 2 belts. I mean, he wants to make a name for himself. That's really what it's coming down to.
It has nothing to do with him fighting the best competition. It's more just trying to take belts. Well, at the end of the day, it is the best.
Exactly. And the way things are looking after what happened to not Georges St. Pierre, John Jones, and after what happened to Anderson Silva, Mighty Mouse is holding down the crown big time. Big time.
He definitely is. With Georges St. Pierre coming back, I think that he's taking the crown right now as the best pound for pound fighter in the world, since he's coming back with that win.
And then Will did write that he feels Mighty Mouse will beat him if they do go down in weight. I haven't seen.
That's a big toss-up.
It is a big toss-up, but at the end of the day, no one's been able to beat him. So right. That's the only advantage he has over any other fighter at this point. Yep. And TJ has taken L's before, He has taken L's before, but
if anybody deserves that belt, it was TJ Dillashaw. His training is amazing. With Bang Ludwig, I believe that if he goes down in weight, I think obviously Mighty Mouse has the advantage. It'll be nice if they can meet in a weight class, but since Dillashaw wants to go down to actually take a belt, it's going to be very interesting. I would like to think that Mighty Mouse has the advantage because of that.
Yeah, so the next fight is, he says that the next fight for Wonder Boy, he thinks it should be Robbie Lawler. And that's a really good freaking call out.
Who's that?
For Wonder Boy.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good toss out there. Even though Wonder Boy beat Masvidal, and he did it in a great freaking. He is so unpredictable. He reminds me of Machida in his stance because of his karate.
It's a karate stance.
Yeah,
that long stance.
Yeah, so either way, I think it's a great fight, and that's a great call out because 2 stand-up bangers, right? Mm-hmm. And they gave someone like Masvidal, who's also a stand-up fighter, and he put work on that guy, man. Put work on him. He says, yeah, it would be good for the eyes to see if they do end up fighting. And he said that Lawler is still trying to show that he's #1 contender to fight Woodley again. And that is the honest truth. I think at this point in Robbie's career, it's just massive fights because he's really on his way out, I feel.
I agree with you. He's on his way out. Right now, he will just take super fights, you know, and Wonder Boy would be a super fight for him to put under his belt, you know.
So yeah, thanks for the comment there, Will. And then we got Rich. Rich writes, great job announcing the car. He liked my energy. Thank you very much, sir. GSP is the truth. He believes that Woodley needs a knockout for him to regain popularity. I could not agree with him more.
Yeah.
This is why Woodley and Diaz needs to happen. This is why
you need to get Woodley into that, you know, that stage. He hasn't been there yet. Yes, he's the champion, but he's unfortunately a little irrelevant out here. Nobody really wants to see. His last fights have been very boring. A guy like Diaz, whether it's boring or not, you're gonna get people to go watch that fight, and I believe that will bring him into a popularity level. I don't believe that he needs a knockout from Diaz. I really don't, but he needs. I'm pretty sure he's praying every day that Diaz takes that fight because it's a money fight at the end of the day, you know.
He needs that, man. He needs that.
Yeah.
They need to put somebody out there. There's so many people who I feel should go into and fight Woodley right away. So he has time to think about other fighters that are going to bring extra money into the bank for him, you know. He asks where our shirts at. We already have logos already. We have a couple of things that we're working on, but we don't know what route we're going to take. But we're there. We're almost. Well, I should say we're almost there. He also believes that if Dillashaw drops weight to Mighty Mouse weight class, he's going to lose. But if Dillashaw decides to stay in that weight class and have Johnson go up weight, which is what he believes should be the fight, then it's going to be a tough fight for Johnson. I think it's going to be a tough fight for both of them. I'm curious the speed level of him going up to fight at bantamweight for Mighty Mouse.
You mean
how fast he's going to be?
Oh, how he would have been because he's not going up. Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's the plan. I think the plan is for him to go up.
But didn't you say Dillashaw says that he wanted to go down?
I know, but that's the big question because remember.
But it doesn't. But the reason why it makes so much it's going to be so much harder to tell TJ Dillashaw, listen, you're staying in your weight class. He's going to go up to your weight class when he wants an extra belt. I don't even know if he cares about so much about the fight with Mighty Mouse. He just wants another belt.
That's what Mighty Mouse wants too, though.
Does he?
Yeah. Mighty Mouse wants to go up weight because he's looking for competition. He wants to go up weight. He don't want people to come to him.
Has he literally said that?
Yes.
Okay, because
he wants to go up weight class. He wants that. That was the plan. The plan is for him to go weight class to look for new competition because he's wiped out. He's wiped out. You know, they had mentioned about vacating that weight class because no one could beat him. Yeah. So that's. Once again, I'm curious to see if you know what the UFC decides to do with that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, guys.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. We'll catch you guys sometime next week. Don't forget to follow us on the Will and Rock Podcast on Instagram. If you have any comments like everybody else, feel free to jot them down. We'll go ahead and answer them at the end of each podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe and
Thanks for the love, by the way. Thanks for the love for the last podcast. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much, guys.
Peace.